Hello, everybody. It's Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we are talking with the lovely Madeline Merlo. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
As good as can be, and get to sit down and have a chat with you and pick your brain a little bit. So that's going to be fun.
Hmm.
I actually recently I was at Boots and Hearts when you were performing, so I got to check your live show out there, and I've got some pretty awesome pictures, I think, too, kicking around.
Oh, sweet. That was a fun one for sure. It was
Mhm.
great. It was a good day for sure. I think the rain, I don't know, did it rain when I was playing? I feel like that happened to me a bunch this summer where it just missed us or something like that. And I did a cover of Umbrella by
Mm.
Rihanna. So I feel like I just like called upon the rain all summer.
Yeah, I think it was just before, or like there was that, like you said, just missed you kind of gap there.
Yeah.
Well, we're here today to talk about you, about your music, and about what you do to the world. But for those who are new, can you give a little intro about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Madeline Merlo. I am from Maple Ridge, British Columbia, so about 40 minutes outside Vancouver. I've lived in Nashville for the last almost 7 years. And I've been making music since I was like 6 years old. So always loved country music and singing and writing songs, and have been really blessed to be working in like the Canadian country music world for like a decade. And lots of amazing opportunities there and moved to Nashville to become a really great songwriter and learn a lot and it's been really going great here as well too. So
Nice. So I guess the first question is what really sparked the interest in getting into the music scene?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always say it was like hereditary, because I grew up in a really musical family. My grandmother sang, like my dad made music, like we all at Christmas would like harmonize and be annoying, one of those families and stuff, and just a lot of music in the home. And I grew up riding horses as well. And so I was at the barn pretty much every day. And there was just country music, blasting all the time. And so it was just something I always just felt like music hit me in this like really weird way. Like I just loved it so much and really wanted to sing and started performing in musical theater and auditioned for commercials and talent shows and did all of the things, anything that would have me from pretty much like 6 or 7 years old on, and was in a band in high school and wrote terrible songs and put them on YouTube and just really, really loved it. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even know where it came from. I just always have loved it.
Yeah. Now, country music has a lot of great, people out there and people to draw influence from. But is there someone maybe that you drew an influence from that was out of the box people wouldn't expect?
For sure. I mean, I think I listen to a lot of like I feel like singers and vocalists were always, what I love. Like I loved like Christina Aguilera or Alicia Keys. But it was really like Etta James and Aretha where I was really enamored with the emotion that they sang with. It was like anything they did, you just believed them. And I was like, I want to sing like that. Like I want to tell a story and I want people to really, really feel it. Like that was very powerful to me. So yeah, I really think probably soul music was another genre that I really loved.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. I was actually lucky enough to get to talk to Aretha Franklin's son and have a nice long interview with him, and the stories he would tell about being on the road with his mom and doing different things was awesome.
That's crazy.
Mm.
That's so cool.
Now, you have some new music coming out.
Hmm.
Can you give us the lowdown behind this one?
Yeah, so it comes out, I guess, tonight at midnight or tomorrow. And it's a project called One House Down from the Girl Next Door. And it's kind of it's an intentional project where you start off kind of in a tough situation and throughout the duration of it, you kind of find healing and find yourself. It's pretty transformative. And then at the end, you kind of find out who you are and you find who you're supposed to be with. And it kind of feels like things start to make sense.
It sounds like a nice project and stuff. And how is your process like when you're putting together music, and especially something like this?
Well, it really started off with a few songs, and I noticed that because I mean, I write all the time. Like I write, 4 to 5 days a week. I write for myself, I write for TV and film, other artists as well. And so when I kind of have like an idea that's I'm like, this is mine. Like I really feel this. I noticed like two or three of the songs all kind of occurred in this one period of my life that was kind of really tough. And I felt like it was filled with a lot of learning and a lot of change. And so I was like, it would be cool to write about this period and kind of have all these songs fit in this period, pretty much. And then the last song is kind of like the moment of like the celebration, the high at the end where you I met my husband and it kind of all, was felt like it all made sense and all the pain had all the purpose. And so for me, honestly, it just kind of started to fall out that way. I was like, this is starting to tell a story like very naturally.
Mhm.
And yeah, but I mean, I love to write songs about really anything and have a phone filled with ideas and but really, I think my favorite thing to write about is stuff that feels empowering, going through hard things and coming out on the other end. It's just always been something I love writing about.
And it's easy to connect with things like that because people go through things similar all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And whatever it is, whether it's relationship or it's your mental health or it's just like a tough season. I mean, we all just like dip in and out of those. And so there's a song on the project called Good Grief. And it's like, it's like one day I'm going to look back and it's goodbye is going to be good grief. And it feels like it's very honest and raw, but such hope in that song that like it doesn't feel like it right now, but like one day it's going to make sense. And I needed a song like that in that period. So I often look at myself and like, what would I have needed to hear when I was going through that? Or what do I need to hear now? Or what songs am I like yearning to connect with? And then
Yeah.
try to,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And it's something personal to you, which means it's going to be more authentic that way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So over the years, how do you think your music has evolved? I mean, you've definitely grown a lot and done a lot of different things. So I'm sure it's impacted you in different ways.
For sure. I really think it has. I think the quality of the writing is better and it just gets better. Living in Nashville, it's like you're surrounded by incredible songwriters. And with every year that I'm here and consistent writing, like any muscle, you just get better and better at it. So I feel like I'm better at telling a story than I've ever been before. And it just feels a little more grown up. It feels experimentative. It feels, there's a track on the project called Middle of the Bed that feels like it's a little crossing into another genre even. It just feels like exciting and unique and always trying to find, what makes me different and makes me unique and what my voice really is. And so, I mean, the older you get, the more you just understand yourself, I think. So it just feels more authentic, I guess.
Yeah,
Is it?
for sure. Now, speaking of Nashville, you've kind of mentioned that that's influenced some of your most formative stuff recently. Is there a different city that you think would be really interesting to create something like this in?
Yeah, probably New York. I love New York. I feel like it's very alive and busy and crazy and honest and raw. And so I feel like every time I go there, it just has this like really cool energy. So I feel like I would probably be down to like create a record there. I know a lot of like Taylor does her stuff in New York as well. But I mean, Nashville's just so amazing. It's where country music lives, so it's hard to imagine being in country music, wanting to be anywhere else. I feel very lucky. I mean, I live in my dream city, truly every day. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's nice to have that kind of just perfect collaboration of everyone around always working at something in music, and Nashville's a great city for that.
For sure. And even like it goes beyond just country too. Like all genres. There's a really cool rock scene here and a really cool rap scene here and it's just a bunch of creatives. And the city isn't all that big. So it's in a small-ish kind of place. And so when I first moved to town, going to like a bar or whatever, and seeing like, oh, that's Casey Musgraves. Oh, that Jack White is over there. Oh, that's so cool. Like that's Kings of Leon's restaurant. Like it's like constant, it's like all artists and all creatives. It feels like sometimes everywhere. And so it's just a cool thing to feel like you're a part of.
Yeah, definitely a place I'd like love to visit at some point once, busy life stops being so busy.
Yeah, yeah, you should for sure.
hmm Now, songwriting and things like that are key components in country music, and songwrites and song circles are big. If you could host a songwriting retreat with
Ooh.
your biggest influences, alive or past, who would they be and why?
Hmm. Like artist wise.
Anyone that you think would be influential to that type of thing.
That's really cool. I love that question. I would say there's just so many great songwriters. There's a songwriter named Josh Osborne who is just incredible. He's so good at like you have this not formed thought and he somehow turns it into this like beautiful idea and song.
Mhm.
So I definitely bring him along. I'd bring JP Sachs as well. He's a great writer. I think he's from Toronto originally, but just the way that he can tell a story is so incredible. Um, let me see. I think I'd love to bring like Billie Eilish, Phineas combo as well. Like I feel like they're just so creative and just are constantly creating things that you've never heard before and would make a really great team.
Yeah, I think that actually sounds like a really interesting one. Be definitely something to be a part of.
For sure. Yeah.
Now, as a writer yourself, if you could write from the perspective of someone else, how would that look?
Um, yeah, I mean, I do sometimes. I think sometimes I'm like, this is definitely a boy idea, and go in the room and be like, this isn't for me today, but I feel like this is an important thing to say or tell. So I think it's just fun to me. Like I like telling the perspective from a completely different, person than me. But I mean, I would love to write a song for just like one of the legends like Tim McGraw or Faith Hill or Reba or something like that. I feel like that would be just so cool.
Yeah, it's a great kind of, note on your
Yeah,
portfolio saying, "Hey, I did this."
for sure, for sure.
Now, you've worked with a bunch of people and written a bunch of different things. What advice would you give to a younger artist or a newer artist who's trying to get out there and collaborate
Mhm.
with anyone these days, really?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's hard to, especially coming from Canada, be like, you need to move to Nashville. Like, I understand. I mean, it's a huge sacrifice to live in a different country. It's not easy. You move here with no credit, and your money is like the money disparity. Like, it's a hard thing, and you need a visa, you need to get a job. Like, there's all those hoops to jump through. But to come here, to encourage somebody to come here, especially if they wanted to become a great songwriter would be my first thing, or wherever you are, if that's not a possibility, to find a community to collaborate with. I think it really changes the game when you're because you start off writing by yourself and then you start working with other people, and every single day is like a learning lesson, and you watch somebody else, twist a phrase or twist a hook, or watch somebody else's brain pick out a really cool melody. Like it's so inspiring every day, and you just watch these magical things happen. And to surround yourself with like positive people that are encouraging and like not jaded, because that can be hard sometimes too
Mm,
in this industry, just trying to like keep your attitude positive, but more than anything to just do it. I mean, it's every day. Like if you want to go to the gym and get really fit, it's like it's as simple as showing up at the gym every day. You just got to show up to write, be prepared, don't be too hungover, and show up and do what God made you to do.
No, that makes sense for sure. Just actually putting your next foot forward every time.
Mhm.
Now, I asked this question on all my first time interviews because it's the funnest one that I can usually think of, and
Okay.
it's gonna make you think a little bit. So,
Okay.
what's one thing you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Oh, that's such a great question. I feel like you've already had, I loved like a lot of your questions. Um, I think for me, I wouldn't, it has been asked before, be like, what's the hardest part of this industry? I feel like if like when I'm listening to an interview, it feels comforting knowing that other people are like going through the same things that you're going through. But even your last question with like advice and stuff, I feel like those kinds of things when I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to an interview to just hear different perspectives. I feel like that's important because it can feel like, I mean, I live in Nashville. I have a publishing deal. I've got a record deal. Like I've got all this really exciting things happening for me, but it's really hard. And every day I wake up and I'm like, is this like, I think I know this is what I'm supposed to do, but this didn't pan out and this is so hard. And my mental, like it's so hard. You feel like you're just juggling so much and you're in the most unpredictable industry. There's no work safety. Like you just never know when your next show is going to be. It's just constant anxiety sometimes. And so I find when people are just like open about that, it makes me feel less alone.
Well, that kind of leads into my next point was because the music industry is so crazy, is what's something that you do to keep yourself grounded outside of that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just surrounding yourself with the right people and have like the right foundations. I think for me, leaning into my faith and being like, okay, like even if music goes away tomorrow, like I'm still Madeline, I'm a great sister, I'm a good wife, I'm a child of God. Like I'm things outside of music because your identity is so tied up in your job. And there's not a lot of jobs like that. Like I don't go home at 5 o'clock and leave it. And when music isn't doing good, I'm not doing good. Like it's so intertwined. And so I think to just have independence and confidence and a life outside of music is important. And especially when I was younger, I just didn't. Like someone would be like, what else do you love to do? And I'd be like, huh, like I don't do anything else. I don't go on vacation. I don't play soccer. I'm like, I just do this every day. And so I've learned to I like to paint and I like to hike. And now I do go traveling and try to find other things that I enjoy doing. I think that's like a good way to stay grounded.
Yeah, for me before that, my holidays, like before kids, was holidays would be going to a music festival to
Hmm.
cover that. So I actually go out live, like I shoot photos, I review the whole thing. So it's still work, but I'm out doing something different. But now kids force me to be a little extra grounded and
Yeah.
keep doing that.
Absolutely. I've heard that as well too. Like my a couple of my friends that have kids, they're like because they're like you're not thinking about yourself. Like it's a selfless feeling. Like they come first and that's been really like healthy and healing for them being in this industry that feels very, I mean, especially in the world of like content all the time. It's like I'm staring at myself all day talking about me and listen to my music, come to my show. It's very weird
Mhm,
having somebody else that's more important than you, I think would be like a good mindset and like healthy thing.
for sure. Now, a quick fun one. Who plays you in the movie of your life?
Fun. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm imagining they'd be like young and like growing. So I don't really know like I just like I've always loved like Blake Lively, but I feel like she's older than me, so it would be weird to have her. But I just like have always thought she was so cool. Let me think.
The nice thing is it's your movie of your life. You can have different stages. So Blake could be the older you, and
So she could be older me. Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that. Maybe me.
I mean, hey, it is your movie. You're allowed to do that. Now, a couple more questions before we end out. What do you hope people take away from your music as a whole?
Yeah, I hope that they just like relate to it and find, their story in it. And I think I just try really hard to make music that feels like very relatable and like things people go through every single day and that they I mean I love music that sounds different, that they're doing something different that feels unique and creative, and I'm always trying to do that, so I hope people kind of hear the little weird things that I'm doing and think it's cool, and but more than anything, yeah, I just want them to hopefully find something in it, find some healing, find a new perspective, find some hope. I think this project, there's a lot of like it's really about being in the wilderness, kind of not knowing, and then trusting your gut that like this isn't the right thing for you. Like you have to move forward. Like you have to continue. I know you want to call them. I know you want to go back, but like keep moving forward. And so I hope people move forward with this project.
For sure. Now, oh,
I think it's mine. I didn't turn it on. Do not
oh,
disturb
that's
on.
fine. So if a new fan is coming to your music for the first time, what's the first song they have to listen to?
Good question. Well, like maybe I'd be like, oh, Broken Heart Thing. That's like the latest song. I feel like it's like the most current, but I'd probably say It Didn't. It's my most like consumed song. And it's literally like the hook is like, I thought it would kill me, but it didn't. And that song is just like the ultimate pump up encouragement song, about being in the tunnel, in a dark tunnel, and seeing a tiny little light and just putting one foot in front of the other, and what that party at the end of the tunnel is going to feel like. And I love to play that song. This year we did a lot of shows in the US for like kind of the first time, and they had never heard that song. That's like one of my biggest songs like in my live set, but in the States like they haven't heard it a lot. And it's so fun to play it for the first time and say that to a group of, however many people, and say like, I thought it would kill me, but it didn't. Like it doesn't. Like you keep moving forward, and it just feels like I get to use my little platform in a cool way. I'm so sorry if this one mine.
No, that's okay. We only have one more question anyways, and I think it's the most important one is, are you happy?
Am I happy? Yeah, I am. I definitely am. I feel like I said, this business can do, tricky things to your mental health, and even like if you look at all the things that I have going on from a work perspective, I'm like so overwhelmingly blessed. And yet I'm still like, I need more and I need to do this and do that. And so I try every day just be mindful. But like in the scheme of it all, like I have my health, I have my family, I have a great relationship with my husband, I have this house in Nashville. Like I never thought I'd be able to buy a house. Like that's so amazing. This job has brought me so much and life's just getting better.
Hmm. I think that's a great piece to end on, really, because life is always a little bit better every day. Well, that was everything I had. Great to get to pick your brain a little bit and see what makes the music coming from behind the scenes a bit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Great questions. And you would not know that you have a 4-day-old baby for sure.
I mean, I only ever sleep probably 4 or 5 hours anyways a day, so it really didn't
You're
change.
well equipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to we have the new release coming out tonight or tomorrow. I'm actually going to try to get this video done today so we can get that out right away. And looking forward to seeing more coming out of your camp.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
No
Appreciate your
problem.
time.
Yeah.
Bye. See you later, Tom.
See you later.